I don't think there is. I think you're expressing yourself and whatever that comes out is like, music is art at the end of the day. When you go into the studio, I'm sure we all just kind of just go in. Sometimes you might have a plan, sometimes you might just go in and just create.
I don't know about that, you know. I think music is art, but I don't know if, in my experience, a lot of Christian artists that I talk to actually view it as art. I think they have this perception of what it means to be a Christian artist and that every 8 bar has to have Jesus in it.
Yeah.
And like when I was growing up, there was this big separation. So either you're a Christian artist and we watched these DVDs, they were called like The Truth Behind Hip Hop. And you had to take all your Jay-Z CDs and then go and burn them and all that kind of stuff. Or you're a secular artist, a mainstream artist, and the two don't mix. Whereas I actually think we are who we are in Jesus. Go into the studio and forget about the boxes and just create what naturally comes out.
That's it.
And off the back of that, I got a question for you because you've had like a drastic change. You was in the clubs, shocky. You know what I mean?
These references.
And now, I'm really a fan of you guys. But now you've gone the other way.
The complete opposite.
So do you see it as you have to be in this box over here, or you can be in this box over here and there's no linking up the two?
For me, I'm still learning. That's how I see it. I don't think there's a set, I can't tell you what you're doing is right or what is wrong, because I'm not Jesus, I'm not God. That's the bottom line of all of it. So the first thing I had to remove out of everything was judging. I was not perfect. So it's just for me, where I am in my walk with Christ, it's like, I feel like I'm at the stage where what I want to do is just tell people about Jesus. Do you understand? So that's where I am in my walk. But I will never listen to someone else and be like, you shouldn't be saying that. You shouldn't be doing that, because I can't talk about your walk. It's only about me. So where I am in my walk right now, I'm heavy in church, prayer meeting, I'm even leading. Intercession and all. And I've never done that before.
Pastor
so,
Eugy.
hey, it's the Lord, you know what I mean? So for where I am, that's what, I'm only making music reflecting where I am in my walk. Who knows? I can't speak on where I'm going to be in 5 years, where the Lord's going to take me. But for me, where I am right now, I can only just be real to where, like, what I'm going through and how I'm living. So that's why it's gone from like that side to that side. But never will I don't judge. I still have love for everybody. I still see some of my guys that I just don't go club with them. I don't do none of that. But I still go be in the pits with them. Because if I remove myself, who's going to be the person that's going to bring the gospel to them? Do you understand? So I don't judge. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just pray for everyone and hope that everybody's heart posture is the way it's supposed to be. Other than that, I just pray for you and love you still, you know what I mean? My parents are very influential in my life. So I love my mum and dad to bits. I'm somebody that was blessed to have my dad really in my life. Like, my dad is the reason I probably didn't go off the rails the way I should have, because he didn't care about whether I liked him or not. He just knew he had a job to do. And so that's all he cared about, was making sure I made it out of the other end. So my dad since I've known this man, since I was born, all he's ever spoken about is God, is Jesus, is God, is Jesus. And he's probably the best human I know in terms of his morals, his principles. He's a stand-up guy. He's sacrificed so much for me and my family. He's loved us, he's provided for us. So if there's somebody that I look at as a role model, it's my dad. Do you understand? And so for me, I take what he says as the gospel. Do you get what I'm saying? And for me, the life that they lived when we were growing up is what I saw as the ideal life. You know, when I stepped out of the house, it was a different thing, because I'd be with my brethren doing all this type of nonsense. But when I come home, it's like in my mind, I was like, I wanna grow up and be like how my dad is. Do you understand? So
that's mad healthy still. Like,
I ain't gonna lie. So as I was talking to Gov earlier, I was like, I feel like God has always said to me, when I was out there doing what I was doing, what are you doing? Because I didn't put you on this earth for you to come and scatter things. So how is it that I've placed you in a good home, and then you're out there doing that? And I've always had that conviction. But I just always used to just put it to the side, like God, I'll come back. Like, let me go and do what I gotta do. Do you understand? So for me, I'm somebody that I feel like I can say I've always known better. And that's the result of my mum and dad and the influence they've had on my life.
Yeah, definitely. So parents was powerful.
Very. That, I think they might be the most powerful. If anyone's on a walk with Christ, more times than most, I think it's come from your parents.
That's strong.
Interesting, because I had it a bit different, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously for me, I had my mum very present in my life. My father left at teenagehood. So that had a big effect on my reality outside. Now, I'm a believer that both parents in a family home will create stability. As you said, your father had a purpose, mother has a purpose.
Yeah.
That confusion, I believe, led me astray, innit? Now, like, I don't really need to go into too much detail in it, but like, that absence in a father figure put a lot of pressures in areas where I believe and felt like I had a responsibility to be the man in the home. That's where it stems from a lot of the time, innit? Now, my faith and my religion naturally came from my mother's side. My grandmother, very religious. I'm saying, and I've had a very good connection with the females in my family. But one thing with men, I heard you say it earlier, which touched me, we're very boisterous. So naturally, religion was always instilled in me, but like, it would go through one ear than the other. But sometimes when you have, obviously I'm Ugandan, East African upbringing, and you know, with the type of family that I have, like they're very strict, but they will also let me learn for myself, innit, type thing as well, innit? And I believe sometimes that is also the best way to humble you and make you learn for yourself, innit? And obviously, interested in your story, innit, because you was rooted from your parents, I was rooted from my own vision of life, innit? You know what I'm saying? Now, our parents will always tell us, innit, there's always light and darkness, be careful of this, be careful of that. If you don't hear, you feel. You know what I'm saying? Innit? So naturally,
That's real.
I probably had a different like turning point in it. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm still learning in it as you are in it. So I believe for me, I learned a lot from my mistakes. Always installed as a Christian from young, but those mistakes made me reflect, made me realize there needs to be a point of peace in it. That's where it all leads to, innit? And yeah, for me, that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's dope still, because it just reminds me of like the direct contributions my parents done for me, but also the things that they didn't do. And like how that made me practically, but also emotionally. Because obviously, I had my dad in my life as well, but we had a really, and I speak about it a lot, I had a tough relationship with my dad. And obviously him being an ambassador of Christianity in our home naturally just made me have a poor relationship with the faith as well. And like being from South London and having other role models in your immediate environment. So you get me? I think those things naturally cultivated that anger that I had growing up, which then translated into my music early on. So me releasing, expressing trauma, I think a lot of that was directly or indirectly influenced by my dad. So it's crazy because I've come for a U-turn now. But yeah, I directly do, I do recognise that that was definitely an influence still. You know, even the things that he didn't do that I would have wanted, or the fact that I felt closer to individuals and peers in my environment, you know, that I related with, you know what I mean? I think those were the things that gave me language to then speak about things in my music. It felt way more natural to describe what I'm gonna do on a Friday night or the things that I'm
That's real.
you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like but that still was a part of my Christian experience because it was my struggle, it was my pain, you know what I mean? And I, even now, where I describe myself is, I'm literally just sharing my life and giving God the glory in it. But it's still my life, and in that life you're gonna see the ugly parts that I think is very important. So I'm just glad I got a bit more of the journey now where I can look at and be like, rah, my dad was an imperfect human just like I am.